flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. So as I said, we are going to have a great meeting tonight, and to start this meeting and to handle and bring us to an incredible meeting, we have nobody more qualified to be our Toastmaster of the evening as Jessica Son. So Jessica, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. And I hope you all have a great start of year 2024. It's January 24, and soon we will have the Chinese New Year. So the year of rabbit is almost done, and the year of dragon is coming soon. All right. As the Toastmaster today, my duty is to act as a host and conduct today's program. The theme of the day is slightly different from the agenda, is expert witness, and the word of the day is knowledge. An expert witness actually is a law term, is a term in the court or in the law. So that person can be anyone with knowledge or experience of a particular field or discipline beyond that to be expected from a layman. And the expert witness duty is to give the court or attribute the impartial opinion or on a particular aspects of matters within his expertise. Usually we call subject matter of expert. I think that's the word. Anyway, so that's the witness, expert witness. They will provide truthful, impartial, and independent opinions, whether or not those opinions in favor of a party, one party, or a particular party in the court. For example, a person ran into a car accident when he tried to turn left at the intersection on a flashing yellow light. He was too late, and the traffic on the other direction already coming, and then hit him, and then caused the incident. And then when the police arrive, there might be someone witness there and saying, okay, he is too late, he's probably turning on the right light, and our light is already turned green. So that person, do we treat that as an expert witness? Probably not. They are not. They are just a regular witness. They were at the scene and they saw what happened. But an expert witness, what they will do, they may say, okay, I think the engine of that car is too small. That car need to be redesigned. The engine need to be larger so he can be faster and pass the traffic light in the flashing yellow lights, period, and then they won't have the incident. So who can do that judgment? That will be an expert witness who has the years of knowledge and experience with car design, right? And only that person can do this type of witness. And in our club, we also have someone who are very familiar with this topic. So I'm going to call on her and she will tell us more about expertise. So Ms. Carol, do you want to tell more? You are muted.
My husband was a doctor of organic chemistry and he worked for the EPA. In a seminal case, he was an expert witness. There was a Superfund site, and I don't know if you know the term, but it's a place that's heavily contaminated. And they were trying to, the EPA was trying to get the people who owned the field and created that Superfund site to pay for the cleanup. And they had designed a program whereby they would be able to clean up the field. And the company that was going to be on the hook for all the money was arguing that it should not be their responsibility to clean up because a lot of the materials were oozing out of the ground and going elsewhere, et cetera. And my husband, with his expertise in organic chemistry, was able to follow the trail of chemicals going down into the soil and identify the places where those spots could be tested and accurately measured for the dispersion of those solids. And so that was his level of expertise. He could give a witness to that and a witness to the efficacy of the EPA's program to clean up the site. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Carol. So thank you for the example. And now let's come back and then think about what is the relationship between Toastmaster Club and the expert witness. So I was thinking about last night. Then what I'm thinking is, in the mature Toastmaster Club, it will be great that we have several expert witnesses to provide to the guests and the newcomers, new Toastmasters, that a truthful, impartial, and independent opinion about the benefit of participating a Toastmaster Club. And today we actually have several DPA, I will call them as expert witness, that they will have delivered a speech or doing the table topic master or doing all kinds of things, right? And we will have all this privilege to listen to their speech, to their talking, and that will be a good expertise witness to everybody to show their knowledge about public speaking and about Toastmaster. So before further ado, let me introduce our general evaluator for the night, Mr. Elias Despas. Elias is the VP of membership of this club. So Elias, do you want to introduce your role and your wonderful team? The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Tonight, I'm serving as a general evaluator. My duties today will be to evaluate today's meeting and make sure it goes well, and evaluate if we follow the procedure. And I have a team of evaluators, and they will help me tonight. First one is our grammarian, Mr. Avi. Mr. Avi, could you introduce yourself and give us insight about your role tonight, please?
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Tonight, I'll be the grammarian, and based on my role, I would be keeping track of good use of phrases, any grammatical mistakes, or anything that would make us a better speaker. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian. Second person in my evaluation team today is our counter, Mr. Jorge. Could you introduce yourself and give us about your role?
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. My role tonight as an counter is to keep an eye on every one of you and make sure that you are not using feeling words during your speech or participation in tonight's meeting. Words such as so, or repetitive word that doesn't really add to your message. I already start counting for words, so keep up your flags up and stay at 10. Thank you very much, Mr. General.
Thank you, Jorge. And third person is my team today is Timer. Mr. Avi, and can you please introduce yourself and give some insight about your role tonight?
Thank you again, Mr. General Evaluator. As a timer, I'll be keeping track of the speeches, the evaluation, as well as the table topics. If you see there is a corner somewhere here, you will see some clock popping up. And this will show you the time. So keep an eye on that one. It will help you track your timing. And just for the sake of reference, for table topics, you have to speak minimum 1 minute, evaluators minimum 2 minutes, and speakers, I guess today we are doing minimum 5 minutes. The tops are 7 minutes for speaker, 3 minutes for evaluators, and 2 minutes for table topics. 30 seconds grace period to wrap up your speech. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. And the last person in my evaluation team today is ballot counter and Mr. Jorge. Jorge, back to you. Could you please give some insight about your role tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. So at the end of the speeches and also the same thing at the end of the evaluations, I will be posting a ballot for everybody to vote. I will be counting the ballots and passing the information to our Toastmaster at the end of the evening. So she will announce the winner for the best speech and the best speech evaluator. And obviously for Toastmaster, for table topic Toastmasters too. Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator.
Great. And thank you, ballot counter. And that is my evaluation team tonight. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. So we all know a Toastmaster meeting is structured in Thai, and P stands for prepared speech, I stands for impromptu speech, and the E is the evaluation. So we will have a wonderful meeting. We have 2 prepared speech, multiple impromptu speech. I know my table topic master is well prepared. So she has a lot of topic for us to use. And then Elias will have a great evaluation team. So now let us begin our first piece of pie, prepared speech. And our first speaker is Tosin Ashel. And he's currently our club secretary and surgeon of arm. And he's doing the dynamic leadership path, and he's on the level 3. He's doing the project is called Negotiate the Best Outcome. So the title of his speech for tonight is Win-Win or Win-Lose. So he will talk about the negotiation. Negotiation also often make us want to win, but not succeeding the negotiation can make us feel like losers. And Tosin, a senior project manager at a technology company, he will share a new perspective of negotiation. So please help me welcome Mr. Tosin in presenting his speech, Win-Win or Win-Lose. The floor is yours, Tosin.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Win-win or win-lose. What comes to your mind whenever you're in a position to make a decision? A decision, especially when it pertains to negotiation. Everybody, or most people, tend to run away from negotiation. People hate negotiation or negotiating. And oftentimes, when we get into a situation or a position when we have to negotiate, we're often driven by that thirst and hunger to win. But if we don't win, we sometimes consider ourselves as losers. Now, come to think of it, when you consider yourself, myself, as a loser, it typifies you seeing a glass of water half empty. Now, rather than seeing a glass of water half empty, why don't you flip the coin and see the glass of water half full? There are situations, there are circumstances when we're negotiating, we have to decide if it is important to always win, or if it's necessary to compromise, or if it suffices to let go. I remember very vividly, sometime last year, I'd gone to pick my son from his daycare, a 3-year-old. And as soon as we got into our home, my son looked at me and he discovered that as I was about to go into my office, he said, "Hey, Dad, you need to take off your shoes." And I turned. I looked at my son, a 3-year-old. I said to him, "Did you just say that I should take off my shoes?" And the reason that I asked that question was because I've had a very long day. I was tired. I didn't want to take off my shoes. I just wanted to get into our home and go back to my office to continue my work. But my 3-year-old saw that I still had my shoes on, and he had the guts to tell me that I should take off my shoes. And I looked at him. I was angry. I was furious. And I said to him, "Why would you tell me to take off my shoes? Come on." And he said, "Dad, you made the rules. You have to take off your shoes because rules are rules, and you have to stick to the rules." And then I sighed. I had to drop my ego, looked at him into the eyes, and realizing that there was no way that I was going to win this negotiation, and I asked him, "Okay, agreed. I will take off my shoes, but we have to make a deal. And here is the deal. Henceforth, I will take off my shoes, but you won't tell me whenever we come back home that I should take off my shoes." And he said, "That's a deal." And he said that, okay, his own part of the deal will be that if I take off my shoes today, he's going to give me a high five. And I said, "Okay, that's interesting. We have a deal. I'll take off my shoes, you give me a high five, and going forward, you won't tell me to take off my shoes." And that was exactly what happened. I took off my shoes and he gave me a high five. Now you're asking, and you might be wondering that, how do I negotiate, or what steps can I take to actually become a better negotiator? There are 3 things you can do. The first one is that you assess the situation. The second thing is that you strategize. And the third thing is that you engage. In the case of my son, he assessed the situation carefully. He looked at me and he discovered that my shoes were on and I was about to run into my office. The second thing that we did was that we both strategized. Having discovered that we had to get into a negotiating round, I proposed a strategy to him and told him, "Fine, if I take off my shoes, then you give me a high five, and then going forward, No more telling me that I should take off my shoes. And the last thing that we did was to engage. We took action and ensure that we follow through to what we have proposed. Fellow Toastmasters, anytime you're faced with a situation, or each time you're faced with a circumstance, you and I always have that opportunity and that capability to negotiate a better outcome. It can be a win-win. Sometimes it can be a win-lose. Other times it can be for you to compromise. And sometimes it might just be to walk away. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tosin. That's a really wonderful speech. And we learned the negotiation strategy. And hopefully one day we could be expertise on that subject in the future. Okay, so audience, please write comments to speaker and tell them what you like. Make suggestions for improvement. And Mr. Timer, can you please set the time? All right, the time is up. Now, let's come to our second speaker, Mr. Akin Oni, CCP, PMP, CPTM, DPM. So with all this title, you know, Mr. Akin, he is an expert on a lot of stuff. He is an energy industry projects executive and a distinguished Toastmaster. He has been with Toastmasters since the fall of 2016, so almost 8 years ago. He currently sits on the education board of the AACE International, and he's the chair of 2 District 56 Toastmaster committees. He served for this club as a club president last year and many leader roles before that. He could stand in front of the judges and then in front of guests and new Toastmasters as an expert witness with his knowledge and experience in Toastmaster. As part of his second DTM project, and Akin will speak on the part 1 planning of his DTM project, and the project title is Development of a Centralized Records Cabinet over 5 to 7 minutes. Please join me. Warm, wonderful welcome to Mr. Akin as he delivers his speech. Mr. Akin, the floor is yours. You are still muted.
Mr. Timer, sorry, let me share my screen before you start. Share screen. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Okay, screen 1. Share. Okay, I can still see the timer. That is good. Okay, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And good evening, fellow Toastmaster. This is my first of 2 second DTM project presentations. Tonight, I will be speaking about the development of a centralized records cabinet. This has to be a presentation per Toastmasters rule for the most part, and the fact that I will be talking about a project. I'd really like to bring it to life as much as possible. Well, we all know that every organization develops documents, and documents go through a life cycle, wherein you try and initiate the development of the document, you submit it for review, it is reviewed, it is approved, it is stored. And that's really where I'm going tonight. It is stored somewhere. And then it is released to others to use. And then you're using the same document, you try and document your learnings, and then you repeat the cycle again. That's a typical document life cycle. In this organization, there wasn't a centralized records cabinet, and this is a real project. Now, what did we do? Just follow me step by step. Number one, the scope of the project was to develop and create a dedicated centralized location for hosting and managing company records. And the purpose was, includes 1, provide technical records governance. Number 2, facilitate the audit and provide support so that whenever the documents are going to be audited, you know that you've got a one-stop shop to go to. Number 3, mitigate known risks in creation processes, findability, and that is very important in any document. And then number 4 is for us to drive consistency across the company with respect to document management and control processes and requirements for migration to the new electronic data management system. What were some of the risks? The risk of continuing without this project include, but not limited to, number 1, we face the risk of multiple handover documents, multiple versions. Number 2, you may be promoting inconsistencies and continuous survival mode mindset, particularly for the users of the document. Number 3, as I mentioned earlier, findability risk. Can we find the document? Even when we find the document, is it the very latest? And then the last but not the least is confusion about drawing selections because of the multiple versions that you've got. Now, with that said, who are the team and the key stakeholders for this project? I was the executive sponsor of the project, and then the director of that project, which is Director of Project Information Management and Document Control, was Mary. And then I've got Head of Document Management and Control, Lindsay, Head of IM, Cassidy, Head of IT and Systems Management, Ime. And then some of our key stakeholders then were Colette, who was General Manager, Process Plant, Courtney, who was General Manager, Production, Operations, Toasting, General Manager, Maintenance and Systems. And then I've got a few General Managers of business functions like Lee, Sam, and Zare. Here is the high-level timeline. This project started before Q2 2021 with pre-work. We thought about it, what were we gonna do, what will we not do, who will do what, and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, we're able to identify a business need, we're able to develop a scope, assess the risk, and obtain approvals to actually execute the project. And then we began the project in Q2 of 2021, precisely in April. We submitted a concept with a business justification and then obtaining approval from the stakeholders before we moved to phase 1. And in phase 1, all we did was to plan and develop the centralized records cabinet to facilitate accurate transmission of handover documents, because that's really what it's about. And then we put a set of deliverables together, got approval for that, and then moved the project to phase 2. And then in phase 2, all we did was to develop the process for use of documents from the centralized records cabinet. When this cabinet is fully built and operational, how are we going to be accessing document? How are we going to be using the document? What about if there's if there are changes during implementation? What is the MOC process, management of change process? And then that was technically the end of that project, which was Q1 2022. And between Q1 2022 and today, we have been using the centralized records cabinet. Per Toastmasters rule, tonight, all I'm talking about is just the front-end work, the planning. When I present about this project next time, it's going to be more around some of the benefits of the project, some of the lessons that we learned, and how the project was closed out. So the intention is that this fall, we're going to come back together and ask ourselves, what have we learned? And then see how we piecemeal future phases to enhance the deployment of the project. So essentially, we will use document lessons learned and then commence further enhancements that align to business needs in a manner that fully unlocks the potential of the system. This is the project, fellow Toastmasters. And I just want you to know that this was actually a real project. And at the end of it all, there are ramifications around the regulatory environment, the insurance people. They need to know that we have a system like this and it's fully functional. That way, they know exactly that, okay, if there is a challenge with the facilities, yes, there is, we know exactly where to go to. The insurance also would like to know that as well. And at the end of the day, it became a very sustainable project. But this session tonight is not for me to present the outcomes. I will be delivering that in February, God's willing. That is my project tonight. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. Akin. Very interesting project. All right. So audience, please write your comments to the speaker and tell them what you like and what part he can make some improvement. At the meantime, Mr. Timer, can you please set the time? Thank you. So, Mr. Timer, did both speakers qualify?
Both speakers qualified.
Thank you. And Mr. Ballot Counter, can you please send out the ballots? And audience, please fill out the best speaker for the prepared speech in the ballot and send it to. You are muted.
Yes, Mrs. Madam Toastmaster, I am going to release the ballot, the polls, so you can vote for the best speaker of the evening.
So when you are fill out the ballots, I'm going to welcome our table topic master, Ms. Carol. And please lead us with our second piece of pie, impromptu speech. The floor is yours. Carol, you're muted.
There we go. Thank you very much. I have had an idea. I had another Toastmasters meeting, and at that one, the Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, did something what I consider very original. And I'm going to try it again on this club tonight. I will read a name and ask somebody to tell me about that name. It can be a person they've known. It can be an historical person. It could be something you totally make up. So we will begin. Avi, can you tell us about Eliza?
Eliza?
Eliza.
I'm sorry, I don't know who Eliza is.
You can make up something. Yeah,
Okay.
Avi.
All right. Okay, Eliza. Eliza is one of my friend. She is a brilliant personality. The one thing I learned about Eliza is that she thinks out of the box every single time. She's very knowledgeable. And one thing, again, I learned from her is you cannot improve on anything if you don't work on it. I'll give you an example. We all know candles. We burn candle when the light's off. But think about one thing. Electric bulb did not come across just because somebody did continuous improvement of candle. People had to think out of the box. And this is something I learned from Eliza. She taught me, step out of your comfort zone, think always from different perspective, see what makes sense, not for the moment, but 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Also, make sure they are relevant to the world that we are living in right now and the trend that it is going towards. That's something I am really blessed to know this person. She changed my perspective about many different things. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Sorry, Table Topic Master.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Avi. I wish that you would introduce Eliza to all of us. She sounds like an absolutely wonderful person to know. Elias, Joseph.
Joseph also has a great personality. I know him for a long time because we work together. And he has some cons. He has some good habits and bad habits. He comes to work in the morning. He comes on time and he just focuses on work. He spent at least 8 to 9 hours every day. And he has great personality. He has great work ethics. In the same time, so many greatness. He has some bad things as well. He's too nice, and then it's kind of make too much pressure on him because some of his friends taking benefit from him, even though and he is very volunteering and he's offering help to someone, and he's just taking too much responsibility. He's not supposed to, and it's kind of make him overwhelming. And he's doing really good progress on that. And then I think he kind of realized what he's doing, and he's living with less stress right now. And he always stay my really good friend. I just made up.
Oh, again, Elias, that was good. A made-up person. It doesn't have to be made up. It can be an historical character or someone that you do actually know and that you sing the praises of, or you condemn. either way, it's good. I'll just read the name and you can decide if you know a person like that or if you think of a person that you have read about previously. Okay, let's see. Jorge, Abraham.
Thank you very much, Carol. Abraham, believe it or not, is the name that we gave to this mainframe artificial intelligent computer. It's the first of his series of quantum-based computer, and we name it Abraham because, as you know, in the historical Bible, Abraham is the father of many of the religions and many of the development in human development. So that was the reason we named this computer while I was working at the University of Illinois, Abraham. Abraham has many different capabilities, and one of those, as a quantum artificial intelligence mainframe, is that it can talk to God. So because of that, the name to give Abraham couldn't be different than that. Abraham is a very sophisticated self-learning artificial computer that advances at exponential rate in knowledge and computing capabilities every day. So very soon you will be hearing about Abraham in any aspects of human civilization. Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you, Jorge. Was there really a computer like that?
When I was at the University of Illinois, we have a big, but that time one of the supercomputers.
Uh-huh.
University of Illinois, one of the very few in the world, actually. But I don't remember if it had a name or not.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a very enchanting story. Thank you. Thank you very much. Madam Toastmaster, do we have time for more? Jessica?
I'm muted. Let me check the agenda. Sorry, let me see. So our table topic is very interesting, the topic you give us. So we have up to 7:28. Yes, we still have time.
All right, good. Well, Jessica.
Okay.
Otto.
Auto.
Mhm.
Okay. Otto is a very good friend or a good leader of me back in 2015 to 2018. And I was just moved to United States, and I heard I have a chance to meet her, and she introduced me to a business, and it's very interesting business. I mean, I shouldn't say business. Introduced me to learn about nutrition and about leadership, and then all kinds of stuff, and about how to use the different type of nutrition to make a good health of a person. So she's really generous, and she showed a lot of things, and then she will share all her knowledge with me, and also try to spend time to understand my situation, and then all kinds of stuff. So when I first met him, I heard her doing some presentation about a certain nutrition study, and I'm really, really interested. And I felt at one point, maybe I can talk like that. So I'm really, really intrigued by her speech. But after 2008, and unfortunately, she was working too hard, and then she was too overloaded, and the stress got her, and she actually passed away in one of the 2018 Christmas. It's a sad story, but But Otto always, yeah, a good leader for me at that time. Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Jessica. That was a sad story. She sounded like an absolutely wonderful person.
Mhm.
Do we have time for more?
Yes.
All right. Tosin, Priyanka.
Last year, I got into a particular frame of mind. And that frame of mind was that I wanted to improve my exercises, my fitness level. Okay. And then when I got in contact with Priyanka, she was happy enough to introduce me to playing tennis.
Mhm.
And when I got into tennis, she was more than happy enough to put me through the basics. And after a while, I improved in my tennis play, and I began to win her. I mean, we played a few games, and based on my continuous and repetitive way of practicing, I was able to begin to win her. So I would say that Priyanka was very helpful to helping me to be more confident and be better off in playing tennis. And I'm super grateful to Priyanka. Back to you. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Tosin. Well, I don't know. All of you people are telling me about wonderful people, and I'm just wondering, are they really, really real people?
Mhm.
Can I do one more,
Yes.
Jessica? All right. Avi, tell us about Nicholas. No, I'm sorry, not Avi. I mean Akin. Tell us about Nicholas.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. It was, it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Perth, Western Australia. I had been invited to a leadership talk. And the title was The Power of Positive Self-Talk. Nicholas, interestingly, was the speaker. As Nicholas began talking, all of a sudden he yelled, "Don't compare, don't compare, don't compare." I didn't know where that was going. Later, I realized that Nicholas is an emotionally intelligent speaker, and he focuses a lot on positive self-talk. And he ended up with 2 key takeaways. He said, number one, as a person, define success. What does success mean to you? Because success definition to you may be different from someone else's definition, but what does success mean to you? And just focus on that. And then number two, it said clearly, strive to be the best you can be. Because it said you are unique. Your strengths, your experiences, your abilities, even your style are different from others. Don't try to compare yourself with others. And that was where those 2 words came from. He ended up, that's Nicholas did end up by saying, emotionally intelligent people don't compare. Emotionally intelligent people, they do a lot of positive self-talk. Emotionally intelligent people, they define what success means to them, and they don't compare themselves with anybody else. And here's my message to all of you tonight. Do you want to be emotionally intelligent? Define what success means to you, and make sure you strive to be the best that you can be in whatever you do. Back to you, distinguished Toastmaster Carol Reader.
Thank you very, very much, Akin. I love that. Positive self-talk. That's one of the best things that a person can do for themselves. Don't tear yourself down by negative self-talk. Thank you all so much. Jessica, back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Let me take a little poll. How many of you were speaking about a real person? No hand. Oh, Jessica's hand is in the air.
Yeah, not
Thank
my,
you so much.
her name is not Otto, but yeah, she's a real.
Yeah,
Thank
mine
you
too
very
was a real
much.
person. Mine too was also a real person, but not
Uh-huh.
Nicholas.
Okay. Okay. You all did so well with that. I appreciate it. I thought you all had all these wonderful people that you associated with. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. So,
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Timer, does all a speaker qualify?
Elias, Jorge, Jessica, Tosin, Akin, everybody qualified. I didn't time myself, so I'll give myself a pass that even I
Yeah,
qualified.
you're qualified too.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, okay, I saw our ballot counter already sent us the poll, please. Please vote for the best impromptu speech and send your vote to our ballot counter. Now, when you are doing that, I'm going to pass our meeting to our journal evaluator to start our last piece of pie evaluation. The floor is yours, Elias.
Thanks, Madam Toastmasters. Now it is time for speech evaluation. Our first speech evaluator is Mr. Jorge, and he will evaluate Mr. Tosin's speech.
Oh,
And floor is yours, Mr. Jorge.
I saw you were saying that I was going to evaluate Akim before because you wanted to evaluate Akim. Remember at the beginning of the meeting?
Okay. I will take, yeah, I will take Mr. Tosin too. It
Okay,
doesn't
all
matter.
right.
I thought you,
I
okay.
can go ahead and evaluate Akim then if you want, and then you evaluate Tosin if you want. Don't worry.
Okay, I can go with Tosin.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. So yeah, Mr. Elias. Mr. Tosin, I have the privilege of evaluating your speech tonight. I'm going to use the sandwich method. So first, I'll focus on the positive aspects of your presentation speech tonight, and then I'll discuss areas where I believe some improvements be made. And later, finally, I challenge you at the end. Before I start my evaluation, Mr. Tosin, I want to express that I really enjoy your speech. When I was listening, you express your ideas very well. And first of all, you chose very interesting topic, win-win or win-lose. And before the meeting today, I just went to our Toastmaster website, and I was looking the title of speech, and I saw your speech title. I really interested in it. Already caught my attention, and the topic you chose was very interesting. I really like it. And at the beginning of the speech, you just talk about what you are going to talk about, and then you just focus on the topic, and you didn't just talk something not related to topic. You did really good job on that. You focus on the topic and you keep continue. And your language was very clear, and it was really easy to understand it. And you use different tones and speed, and you change your voice volume as a tool, and that was great. You gave the emotions very well. When you are explaining the situation, you talk with your kid, I felt like I was watching you guys, and then I was smiling, both of you, because the way your son is speaking to you, I kind of visualized it, and I really like it. So, and also you gave the feelings very well with your vocal variety. And I really personally thank you, because you gave an example about from your life, and it's took all the audience attention, and then it was very good. I just listened very interestingly by end of the speech. Improvements for the improvements, I think you can use presentation, but this type of speech, I don't know how you can do it. Maybe you can set up some presentation and you can put some pictures of your kid. It might be interesting. And for the challenge, and I'm just thinking about it for the challenge, it's really hard to pick one because you did very well. Even your comfort level was really high and you engage with audience, and then the topic was interesting. I think that was great. I really enjoyed it. And thanks so much. And back to you, General Evaluator. And thank you, Mr. Evaluator. And then we are keep continuing and getting feedbacks from today's second speech evaluator, Mr. Jorge. Mr. Jorge is going to evaluate Mr. Akın's speech. The floor is yours, Mr. Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. Akim, you are just the personification of a great speaker. You took a relatively arid and very technical topic that probably in the hands of any other speaker will have put the whole audience to sleep and converted it into something very interesting that grabbed the attention of everybody here. So I'm going to evaluate your speech on content, delivery, and connection, which I think it was super in all three areas. As I mentioned before, the topic that you choose and the topic that you had for your pathway was a technical, specific, probably oriented for a very specific organization, but you explain it very clearly and you explain why you needed to document, to develop a centralized record cabinet. And you explained the document control cycle, which many of us here may or may not know. I know that's a very difficult topic to talk about, and I think that you did very well putting forward all this information. Also, you use good examples of the project team that you had to develop. And that was a very good visual because that gave us the option to see that it was only you or a couple of people saying this, that this required an entire team to put a document or a centralized record cabinet. And then you summarize very well at the end of your presentation why was this project necessary and why you were hoping to accomplish once this project was developed. Now, regarding the delivery, you have a great background for the speech, and by background means you lay out very clearly why you got to the point where you have to develop a records cabinet. You have very good slides, very clear, very simple, but to the point. And you explain clearly how you went from the plan to the conceptualization, to the plan and the development of the whole project. So you set up very well the frame for the presentation and you deliver on that. And then regarding the connection, as I mentioned at the beginning, very arid, very hard topic to talk about, but somehow you grab the attention of everybody here. I didn't see anything yawning or moving their heads or anything like that. Everybody was paying attention to this very complex topic. So what did we learn here and how you explain it to do in the presentation, I think was very, very interesting. And you did connect to the people. Now, you kind of laid out for the next presentation that you are coming back. And that would have been the challenge that I would have been if you were having that presented. So basically, we are expecting now that you provide us how the project went, how it was taken by your organization, and if the people at the organization are using it. So thank you very much. Great presentation again. Appreciate it, Akim.
Thank you for the evaluation, Mr. Jorge. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, so we have two great speech evaluator. Mr. Timer, has both evaluator qualified?
Yeah, both qualified.
Okay, So, Mr. Ballot Counter, can you please send out the poll? All right, so when we are doing that, I will bring back our general evaluator, so you can call on your evaluation team and also do your evaluation report at the end for this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And we are ready to start the evaluation of our meeting today. First evaluator of the team today is grammarian, Mr. Avi. Please give your feedbacks.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. We had a wonderful meeting today. In fact, not at all a single grammatical issue. And let me take a hat swap being the timer for a second. Not a single person went beyond the time limit. The reason why I'm calling it out, and let me put the hat back, we elevated the bar so much where we are very polished right now as speaker. We don't exceed time. We know the content that we are talking about and we are delivering it precisely without grammatical mistakes. Again, our counter will give his report. I'm assuming it's less only. But overall, the grammar part of it, the delivery part of it is subpar. Yes, I did catch a couple of sentences that did stand out for me. For Tosin, when he mentioned if we don't win, we consider ourselves as losers. Yes, it's absolutely true. It happens. And same when Akin mentioned, what success mean to you? Maybe you just focus on that. These are very powerful sentences, and it's wonderful that you spend 1.5 hours in this meeting, investing your time to join this Toastmaster meeting and get to know these words of wisdom. So thank you for sharing this, and back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Avi, for great report. And now it is time to have our counter report. Mr. Jorge, can you please share your report with us?
Thank you, Mary. Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. As Avi mentioned, as speakers, this group is getting very good, very sophisticated. I only said that Jessica has a couple of and ams and just a couple of and buts. Carol, I couldn't hear anything from you at all. Elias, you have also a couple of ams and a couple of ands. Tosin, you only have one not really fitting properly or. Other than that, I couldn't hear anything from Akin, from Avi, and from Carol. And I wasn't monitoring my arms, but I'm sure I had several. Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Accounter. And now I'm going to talk about today's meeting as a general evaluator. I think we had great speeches tonight, and energy of speakers were very high. And we had 2 speeches. It was great. And one speech, it's mostly focused on the emotions. And the second speech mostly focused on information. I can tell I fit my heart with the emotional speech. And then I feed my brain with the informative speech. Thanks so much again for all speakers. And I believe we conducted a very good meeting. Everybody was ready and on time, even though we missed Soma tonight. She had emergency call, but we did a great job to filling the roles. And personally, thank you, Jorge and Avi, just being a volunteer to fill the 2 roles before the meeting. And altogether, we had a great, really good meeting. And with saying that, I'm passing back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Hey, thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I think we missed the timer report. Is it, do you want to call the time? Tell us the
Timer report, I think Avi is already gave his reports back to back.
Okay.
Is that correct, Avi?
That is good. Generally, if you want me to call out who spoke for how many minutes and seconds, I can do that, but it is up to you.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on and find out who is the best speaker, the best evaluator, and the best table topic speaker. So I got the ballot counter, send me the result. Do you want to, should we do a drum roll? So for the best evaluator, we have two evaluator, Elias and Jorge. Who is the best evaluator? Okay, the winner is Elias. Elias, you are the best evaluator. Congratulations. All right.
Thank you. I feel great to beat Mr. Jorge.
That's good. All right. Our next winner. Who is the best table topic? We have 6 speakers. And I guess the result is very tight, very close to each other. So let's do a drum roll. Who is the best table topic speaker? And the winner is Jorge. Yay! Congratulations, Jorge. All right. So now let's go to our last but not least, the most important award, the best speaker, prepared speech between Tosin and Akin. Let's do a drum roll. Who is the best speaker? The best speaker is Tosin. Congratulations. Tosin will be one of our speech contest participant. So that's a great start to win this. I'm sure you will win, just like I wrote it to you privately. I'm sure you will win next. Okay, all right. So now let me turn my power back to Mr. President. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmasters. Again, thank you for everybody for taking a couple of hours of your day, and instead of spending it with your families, you are spending it here with friends. But we are also kind of like your family, your Toastmaster family. So thank you very much. I'm very happy that Carol was able to join us again after you have some health issues that fortunately you were able to overcome. And with this, I want to name our shout out moment winner tonight. And the shout out moment winner of the evening is nobody else than Carol. Carol, thank you for joining us. Thank you for pushing through and joining us. And you gave us excellent, very interesting out of the box table topics tonight. So
Thank you very much.
Definitely. A few announcements that I want to make before we finish for the evening. Unfortunately, we're able to finish early tonight. We will have our speech competition at our next meeting. Our next meeting is going to be a hybrid meeting. We are going to test the hybrid meeting. So for those of you who can attend the meeting, we are going to have at the offices of STV. That was the company where Jacob works. And he very grateful obtained permission from the president of the company, and he is setting us in a great conference room that we can connect also virtual and in person. I just put on the, oh, sorry, I put it on the, I put the address on the, let me put the address for that location in the chat. It's in the 15th floor of the building, 11757 Katy Freeway. Is on the south side of I-10, just about a little bit less than a mile from Beltway 8. But to get there, you have to actually go all the way to the exit of Lady Ashford, make an U-turn on their 59 on their I-10, and come east to the building, which is a Texas something bank. I don't remember the name. I will send all the instructions in an email so everybody will know. If we are there probably before 6 p.m., we'll be able to go directly to the 15th floor. But if we are there after 6 p.m., we will have to be escorted mostly by, I will say, Jacob, most likely. So I'll send indication of how we're going to meet. They have covered parking lot in the building, so it's a safe place. They have also security guards in the building, so it's a very good place to park your car and to walk out to the building. So I'll set all the indications. The only thing I want to